Plan How I Built It video on creating a clean and user-friendly dashboard to manage a list or hierarchy in the new UX. My name's Nico, and I'll be taking you through the demo today. I'm a solution architect with LinePoint, Master Anaplanner, and we've built a couple dashboards like this for clients who want to manage various hierarchies within the tool, but in a user-friendly way that maybe someone who comes in the tool once a month or once a quarter could easily understand. This is what the page looks like. And as we can see here, so we have the button for adding a new investor and the button for deleting selected investors. And just below that here, we have the hierarchy, the department level, and all the information that we need, like the code, the no open assets, formula-driven Boolean, and the names over here. And we have a user selection here for exclude for management fees. So this just to showcase that on this dashboard, not only could you add or delete and view the properties, you could also update the properties manually yourself. We use in the actions a driver line item based on SO2, L2 investment properties, driver any delete in order to have this button not clickable if there is nothing to delete. And as you can see here, we can't click the button. As soon as I show to delete, now aggregating up, looking at all of our departments, the button becomes selectable and we can delete our Alexander portfolio. So looking at Alexander portfolio, we can delete this one because there are no open assets. And so if I go to my other page that I have here, you'll see the current period is August 23. And for Alexander 99, which rolls up underneath the Alexander portfolio, the open and current period Boolean is not checked because for August 2023, there is no activity, no revenue, no expense, so asset is open is checked false. I don't anticipate that a real client would, necessarily display this much detail on a dashboard, but for illustrative purposes to show how we can derive sort of a delete or don't delete based on a set of data. Maybe we wanted to say if there are no, children investments underneath a portfolio, if they were to delete after they're no longer active, we can have that be the driver. It really just depends. Going back to this page here, if I were to add a new investor, I am on the form here, so I could do test investor as the name. We could do the code as 23, something that we haven't used before, and I will put it underneath North America Fund 2. And we have the option here to exclude for management fees, yes or no, but obviously if we submit this on this page, we can still check that box ourselves right here. And for the sake of showcasing here, there are no open assets because we just created this one, so there's no data flowing through to it. So the delete option is available. So I'll click that. I'll click delete selected investors. And we always set it up to run after we run the process. And it deletes the selected investors. And now it's gone. And it's pretty simple then for the user to interact with this dashboard. It looks very nice. And just coming here, they can understand and see everything that they need. Now, showing how this works in the back end, we have a couple properties modules like fund properties where we just have the item, the code, and the name, the properties of the investments, the item, code, name, additionally the parent since it's the second level in the hierarchy, and then the exclude for management fees, which is the user selection that we have available to the user on the dashboard. The no open assets, which is a formula-driven Boolean that checks at the lower level to determine if anything is open in the period. And the delete button. And then this is that delete any detail driver. And so I'll quickly go into blueprint mode here and we can see this one here does not have the L2 applies, L2 investments in the applies to. The driver any delete is at the top level and it's just looking at this function here. So if any of the Booleans are checked, this driver will say, okay, now you're allowed to delete your investments on this line here. So if I click delete, it's available. And if I were to click any of these, immediately this would become available. Additionally, on this page here, I think this is a relatively straightforward Boolean line item. It is not open in current period looking at any of the L3 assets. And so to quickly show what we're doing here, in this module for the systems at the L3 asset level, we have the item code name as is standard, the parent, and then we have open in current period that's looking at D01, our asset level data, and checking the asset is open field and looking it up based on the current period. So it's by month, so we had to define current period, which you do in a systems module, and asset is open is just looking at, is revenue not zero or is expense not zero? If either of those aren't zero, then it must be open. And you can see here that it looks like this one is then closed in October. And as I mentioned earlier, any driver can, necessarily prevent you from deleting assets or investments. This is more just to showcase that functionality. And that is hierarchy management within Anaplan in a nice, easy to use UX page for your end users. Thanks for watching.